Welcome to Office Hours live from Expo West in Anaheim, California. We're blessed to be here as always. And we may or may not have our co-host, but we have Don waiting here ready to go on time right around the corner from Anaheim. Don Spillane is here, and we're going to talk about his book, which is in one of my favorite topics, hustling. Don, welcome to Office Hours.
I'm glad you like hustling. It was hard to come up with a title that was appropriate, and then all of a sudden it just kind of clicked in.
It sure did, and especially when we're talking about hustling the mob, the mafia, the mall wire, and the murders, malware and murders, and this is a modern day mafia that we're talking about. What gave you the idea to contemporize the idea of the mob and make it about hacking and technology more than it is about liquor and drugs?
Well, many years ago I started a book. I was a Scotland Yard detective, and many years ago I started a book about some of my exploits. And I was a junior detective for sure, but anyway, I submitted to a publisher, and they said, "Well, it doesn't have a beginning, middle, and an end. It's a series of short stories." And I went back to it, a few years, 3 years ago now, and I thought, well, let's make it contemporary. And I have a friend who used to be a hacker, and he could give me all the background in that area. I had a couple of experiences with the mafia. One experience was, and I won't say where, when, or how, or who, but I was driving by a place with a partner, and I said, I think that's a mob hangout. Let's go in and see. I don't know why, but anyway, we went in this particular place, which was actually a restaurant, and walked in quickly and sat down. And then I saw a table with about 20 guys sat around. One of them gets up and comes over and he says, "Oh, my name is so and so. Who are you?" And I said, "Well, I'm just here for a meal." And the food was terrible. Uh, he looked over, the guy came over and said, "Well, as you can see, we're having a fundraiser for one of our friends." And I looked over and there was a very prominent politician sat at the table. He and his entourage got up and left after that. But that kind of gave me the idea, and that's in the book. And there's a couple of there's a thread of truth running through it.
Well, all great books have a thread of truth. They also have lessons tied to the story. So I was curious, in all of your exploits, and especially in your last arrest, what's one of the lessons that you want people to walk away with in this very entertaining story?
Well, so that's so hard to say. What lesson do I portray? Uh, I don't think I communicate any particular lesson, to be truthful with you. I just, it was set in the 90s. I was a detective in London in the 60s and 70s, without giving away too much about my age. I just wrote a novel, and there's no particular wish for people to learn anything from the novel, to be truthful.
And what's your favorite story in the book? In what real life story was it based on?
Well, I was involved in a real estate deal. That's part of the book. It did go all tragically wrong, and I understand that someone lost their life over it. But that's part of it. The hacking was it was fascinating to me, and the guy who gave me the advice was very familiar with the type of stuff that could be done in the 90s, which was the internet was right at its infancy. All that was interesting to learn about, actually, as much as used in the book.
Well, and then, at a more experienced age, to wait so long to write a book, what was the biggest challenge in writing the book?
Um, I'd say, well, obviously my grammar is abysmal, so that was a challenge. I had to get a professional copywriter and a professional person to put it together. Um, the hardest part about writing the book is having the discipline to sit down each day and put something down on paper. And I try to get 1,000 words a day. And sometimes I met that, sometimes I went over it. But it's the discipline of sitting down and actually uh, completing it, and rewriting is another part of it. I found that, and my copywriter advised me on this, uh, let it sit for overnight. Finish it and then let it sit and then go back to it, and your rewrite will be much stronger.
That is guaranteed because we channel some of that information, not just utilize our memory or some sort of analogized stories from that. Are you going to write another book?
Yes, I'm writing a prequel right now, using the same characters, obviously, as a prequel. I couldn't write a sequel, and I won't give away the ending, but I've started a prequel about, and it seems to be a topical subject, Nazi art theft.
Yeah, very topical, very relevant, and most likely will resonate with so many people. Where can people get Hustling the Mob? Is it available everywhere?
It's basically Amazon. Amazon does 95 to percent of sales these days, so it's basically on Amazon. And the reviews that I've been getting. Um, Basically, I'm averaging 4.9 out of 5 stars from 16 previews, 16 reviews. One of them from a guy who wrote a whole load of episodes for a TV show in England. And he wrote me a very good review. So the reviews have been kind. It's on Amazon. And, I'm happy with it.
I'm very happy, and I can't wait to finish it myself so I can give you our reviews. As a author myself, I know how challenging it is from 0 to 1. From 1 to 100 in books is much easier. Don, please come back and visit us. Check out, if you love mob books, it's a modern day contemporary mob book, Hustling the Mob. Go to donspillane.com or Amazon and make sure you share it and write a review. Don, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. I was privileged to be here.
You're amazing. Thank you. Great stories, and I gather you can learn some lessons. Trust me.